Order up.
What is that? No, there's no way I'm sending that into the dining room.
Why? It looks great.
Well, it may look great, but it's definitely not up to the standards of Cell's kitchen.
Who are you to keep us from putting food out into the restaurant?
Why, I'm the plasma membrane, of course.
The plasma what?
I'm the squishy thing that surrounds the cell and only allows certain molecules in and out.
I'm still confused.
Okay, let's start on the outside of the cell and work our way in. On the very outside of the cell is the...
Oh, it's a plasma membrane.
Right. I am selectively permeable and I'm composed of a phospholipid bilayer. This is where a hydrophilic polar head and two hydrophobic nonpolar fatty acid tails form a barrier. Within this barrier, there are four major types of proteins. For example, one protein, a receptor protein, is embedded within the phospholipid bilayer. There's a portion of it that also goes on top of the bilayer, and it sticks up and waits for something to trigger it. When something triggers it, it sends a message to the nucleus. This is like when I get triggered, I tell the head chef something's wrong. Another important protein embedded within the phospholipid bilayer is the transport protein. This is exposed to both the internal metabolic reactions of the cell and the cell's external environment, and is responsible for allowing molecules to pass in and out of the cell.
You're also a fluidy thing, right?
Yup, in fact, a common model used to describe my shape is the fluid mosaic model. It shows how I behave more like a liquid than a solid, and can move laterally within the bilayer.
Then who am I? I'm the nucleus?
Well, you do always tell us what to do.
That's a good point. Like the nucleus, I lead the kitchen. I store all the recipes and create new ones and send them out into the kitchen. Just how like the nucleus's job is to create RNA and ribosomes and send them out through nuclear pores in the nuclear envelope, which is a double phospholipid bilayer. I also store all the DNA.
What about the ER? Don't you do something with the ER?
Yeah, I also send ribosomes to something called the Endoplasmic Reticulum.
Oh wait, ER, that's me.
Exactly. You and the head chef are literally attached to each other.
And the RNA gets passed from Anna to me. The ER is composed of cisternae, and which are membranous sacs and tubes. One type of ER is the rough ER, and it has ribosomes and looks like pancakes stacked together. Its function is to create proteins like butchers that makes all the meat. Its function is to create, the ribosomes have a large subset, a large subunit, and a small subunit. The strands of RNA gets passed in between the large subunit and the small subunit and gets translated into proteins. The proteins are then bud off the ER and gets transferred to the Golgi body in vesicles. The other type of ER is the smooth ER, which creates lipids instead of proteins since there aren't any ribosomes. These lipids also bud off the ends of the ER and gets transported into the Golgi body.
So to recap how our kitchen functions like a cell, I, the waiter, represent the plasma membrane. I keep some angry customers out of the kitchen, and I make sure bad dishes don't leave the kitchen. I also send messages to the nucleus when I know something's not right.
As the head chef, or the nucleus, I store all the DNA or recipes and synthesize RNA and ribosomes, which is like me altering recipes and sending them out into the kitchen.
And I represent the ER as the sous chef in the kitchen. I make things, but I still need instructions from the head chef or the nucleus. The products that I make gets given to other organelles in the cell or people in the kitchen.
It all makes sense now. We work like a cell. We function together to run the kitchen smoothly.
Yeah, that's all great, but I still need that order.